Last week I took on a challenge to invest less than 25,000 Rand and turn that into 1.3 million within the next year. And I took on the challenge simply because one person posted on one of my blogs, and he said that basically what I'm teaching is not working, and to a certain extent I should tell people about the share market and so forth. And then he mentioned that he got he made a killing by investing 100,000 Rand and turned that 100,000 Rand into 1.3 million over a 14-year period. Now that's the equivalent of approximately 20.11% compounded interest over a period of time. And from my point of view as a wealth creator, I know that to me is really a bad investment, because I know, because I've got the competency and because I'm teaching this competency to my students, that anyone that applied what I'm teaching, that anyone can outperform a 20.11% really by far. But there's a condition, and the condition is that you have to take responsibility and you have to apply the wealth creator strategy in order to do this. So you can't give your money to someone else or to a system. I see these forex traders. I've got nothing against it. If you make money, that is great. But I guarantee you that you're not going to outperform us simply because you break the formula. Plus, there's a huge risk. So what I'd like to do today is 8 days later, or a week later, and I'd like to give a feedback in terms of what I've done over the last, let's call it 8 days. Okay? So first of all, in terms of the risk, and I'm going to give it to you step by step, as well as what I've done, exactly what and how I've done it. I've allocated, and I said that I'm going to take 25,000 Rand and I'm going to turn it into 1.3 million within the next year. Right. The first thing that I did, I set a limit to 25,000 Rand. That is the limit. Okay? In other words, that's the total risk that I was prepared to be involved with and to take at the end of the day. The second thing that a wealth creator does is, how can we limit the risk? In other words, if I've got 25,000 Rand available, it's not to say that I must invest every cent that I've got. And what I did was to decide to use the roll-in strategy, which is, by the way, a 2.5 level 2.5 strategy. There are 7 levels, so you can see it's one of the easier strategies that you can use. But again, unless you've got the competency, it's going to be impossible. People will not be able to do it. You must have that competency. So the total amount that I invested was 16,726 Rand and 60 cents. And now I'm including every single cent of cost that I can allocate to this investment, right? I've allocated to it, which brings us to 16,726 Rand and 60 cents. I then use the roll-in strategy, and during the seminars and free seminars, I'm explaining people what it is that I actually do and what the roll-in strategy is. And by the way, this roll-in strategy you can apply online as well as offline. You can apply it for products as well as services, or a combination of the two. And it is an incredible, straightforward, easy to use strategy once you've got the baseline, the fundamental competencies in order to do it. Today is the 18th, and today in the bank, a new bank's balance, a brand new business that we've basically opened, or investment account that we've opened, there is 45,882 Rand and 17 cents. That's a total amount. In other words, we literally rolled in. By the way that I structured it, let me tell you what I've done so that you know. In one business that I had, I wanted to use the roll-in. There are 2 ways that you can use the roll-in strategy. The first is to roll it back into the business or back into the investment, because I can apply it in business or property you know. And in the property courses, I'm explaining people how to do it. In the business courses, I'm explaining people how to do it. So you can use it in any kind of, let's call it investment. You can roll it back. The problem that I had was that if I've rolled that money back into the existing investment, then it would be very difficult for me to prove that at the end of the day through auditors. Okay, so what I've decided was to use that money, and instead of rolling it back into the same investment, to start a new investment. Okay, I hope you've got that. In other words, I had to set up a new investment in order to start with a new bank account, with everything, and that's why I say the total cost were 16,726 Rand and 60 cents, including everything up to today. Okay, I then roll that into this. Now, this new business, so the expenses in order to do the roll in, the risk was taken by this company. There were no risk simply because this company had 25,000 Rand that it allocated. That money grew on this side, in this new investment, today to 45,882 Rand and 17 cents. But at this stage, this morning, there were no expenses in this new company. They were just cash. It's in the bank account, and auditors can verify that. So here's what I'm going to do today. I am going to take this money because I want to eliminate my risk. I'm going to take the full amount of 16,726 Rand and 60 cents. And I'm going to pay that back to the company that started, that wanted to do the roll-in. This simply means, with interest, by the way, okay? So I've negotiated the interest rate so that this company actually made money for the risk that they were prepared to take on this investment that I've got here. Okay, so I'm sitting here after I've paid 34 Rand and 83 cents interest. We are sitting with, in the new business, in the new investment, I call it a business investment, whatever you want to call it, right? There's 29,120 Rand and 74 cents. There's no risk from now on for the old investment, and there is no risk except the 29,120, but it cost me not a cent in this new investment. Okay, so let's start playing around with it. From 16,726 to 45,000, the growth on that is 174%. In other words, after we've paid back the 16,000 initially, 16,761 Rand, and it still gives us a growth of 174%. But now, I've applied another strategy. But this time, it is a level 4 strategy, because as a wealth creator, I know that the lower the risk, the higher the growth. Okay, and because I do have this competency, I want to structure it so that the real cost, the true cost for this new investment would not be the full 16,726. And there are numerous ways that I'm teaching students how to use this on condition that they are at the level 4 in terms of their competency. Right, so one of these strategies that I've used, the Zagger principle or the Zagger strategy, right, I've literally lowered the risk in terms of the cost of the investment to only the interest, which is the 34 Rand and 83 cents. Now, when you measure the growth on my investment, because I'm telling my students, the lower the risk, the higher the growth. And here's how we demonstrate that. So from a risk point of view, the growth was 174%. From a cost point of view, in other words, if you've bought shares and stuff like that, it would be 83,599% growth, because the cost was only 34 Rand and 83 cents. This is immense. So although the net growth of after cost is 29,120 Rand and 74 cents, although that is the case, right? Although that is the case, we're going to find that there's a massive difference in terms of risk versus growth. And the moment that you've got the competency to get the growth up, guess what? That is what you need to learn. The only way that you can do that is to take responsibility to learn how to do this yourself. There is no ways that an outsider, like a broker or someone else, can guarantee you this kind of growth for the amount of risk that is involved. And this is my passion. So my deal is, first of all, I'm going to give feedback in terms of seminars that I'm going to present. And you know what I actually want to do? I want to present like a half-day seminar, basically on just cracking the investment code, so that I can take you step by step. And if there are any questions during that day or during that period, that you can immediately ask me those questions, because I think it is vital that you understand it. Because just imagine what's going to happen if you can start getting this. Then you won't say that 100,000 to 1.3 million is a great investment, right? Simply because you're breaking the wealth creator strategy, you break the formula for riches. By the way, there's no ways that this is a great investment. But by investing in yourself, and this is the power to invest in yourself. And this is what I want you to do. Because once you can do that, you're going to break. First of all, you have to learn all this nonsense that you've learned, that other people are regurgitating and they want your money and they'll show you how. No, you have to take the responsibility to learn how to do it yourself. Now, I've said that I'm going to take 50 students with me, and I'll be able to prove at the end of this year, in other words next year, that there are at least 50 students, other people than me, by following the same principles, that could get at least a 5,000% growth on the investment. But you know what? I think I'm going to make it bigger than that. So what I'm going to do, I think I want to get at least 100 people. So by the 10th of February next year, I will have proof that at least 100 students on their investment, by investing and using the wealth creator strategy, could get at least a 10,000% growth on the investment. If not, I will give you every cent that you've invested. I will give back on condition that you can show me that you followed my strategy, the wealth creator strategy, applied the formula for riches, and that you've done what I ask you. Now, there's going to be different criteria. So I'm definitely not going to take anyone on board for this, because otherwise I may have a serious problem on my hand. Simply because if you're not prepared to take responsibility, then there's absolutely nothing that I can do. And that's going to disqualify you. And I really do not want you to invest in yourself if you are not prepared to take responsibility. There will be other criteria as well, but that I will tell you when I see you in a seminar where I'm going to discuss this. So if you do have questions, please feel free on this blog to submit them, and I'll try to incorporate as many of those questions as I can into the seminars, so that I can add immense value to you, so that you can have this thing where you know that you're a wealth creator and that you can do whatever you want and create the kind of life that you really want and deserve at the end of the day. And don't listen to this global belief system stories where people tell you that it is not possible and that you can't do it, and it's nonsense. It's nonsense. If you want to do the same, you can do it. But you need to learn the competencies. And in the seminars, I'm going to explain to you exactly, step by step, what to do. What is the roadmap? How do you get these competencies in a very, very short time? In other words, what I'd like to do is to show you the easiest, the quickest, and the safest way to invest your money and to get to what we call financial freedom, where you can be, just imagine if you're in a position like I am at this stage, where you can do what you want to do, when you want to do it, how you want to do it, and share this information and the information that you've built and the experiences with other people, and in the process start helping them. I think that is great. And for that reason, I'm thankful that I can bring this little bit of information to you. I hope that you can take it, or if you know of someone please just check your emails. You know, I will send out emails from time to time. I'm also going to do some advertisements and place advertisements in the different medias, because I think it is necessary that each and every person knows about. It's not to say that you're going to do something. Maybe you don't want that kind of growth, or maybe your belief system still tells you that it's impossible. But remember, you're not going to pay me in a cent, or I'm not going to take any money and invest it on your behalf. I'm going to show you how you can do it by following step by step the processes that I developed over the last 30 odd years. So I hope to see you, and thank you for your time.